We now know who the 4 teams are that are competing for the national championship as this morning or this afternoon, depending on which area that you live in. The College Football Playoff Committee released their final playoff rankings of the season, and there was going to be some controversy no matter who was going to be in or out. Let's start off with the 3 teams that locked their spots in yesterday. Clemson was number 1, Oklahoma was number 2, Georgia was number 3, and at number 4, that's where the controversy comes in. But the committee decided to put at number 4 Alabama over Ohio State, and Wisconsin was at number 6. So the top 6 was revealed. That's what it was. I know there's going to be some controversy in the comment section on whether or not Alabama or Ohio State should have gotten in. But in my playoff ranking that I did last night, that was the exact top 6 I had that the committee had today. So, but I felt like the committee didn't want to put in a 2-loss team, whether or not they were a conference champion or not. I feel like that there's probably 4 teams that 4 things the committee doesn't want to do unless they probably really had to. Put in 2 teams in the same conference, put in a non-conference champion, put in a 2-loss team, or put in those three are the main thing. Well, the 4th thing is to put in a group of 5 team. That's why Central Florida, despite being undefeated, they're not going to be in ever. So we eliminate that 4th thing. But the 3 main things they don't want to do that I really felt like that should have been covered all throughout this whole weekend was they don't want to put in a 2-loss team, put in a non-conference champion, or put in 2 teams in the same conference. But they had to choose between their lesser of 3 evils in a sense. So they put in 2 of their 3 evils in this playoff, which I feel like those 2 evils that they decided to put in is more excusable than putting in that other evil, putting in a 2-loss team. So that's how I perceived it. There's still a lot of things that still need to be settled down. We still have to wait for the rest of the top 25 playoff rankings. We got to wait to find out who's going to play in the New Year's 6 bowls. All the other bowl games will be settled. But that's something else for another time. I'll talk about it at the end. But right now, I know people are steaming. They're all throughout social media last night. I was looking. It seemed like half the people wanted Alabama at 4. Half the people thought Ohio State should be number 4. But both the teams are really deserving, though. But I feel like the main difference was Ohio State's 31-point loss to Iowa. You're not going to see a Nick Saban team lose to unranked Iowa by 31, or based on how history's gone, lose to an unranked opponent at all. So I think that was the main difference of what got Alabama in over Ohio State. I almost see this as Penn State vibes from last year, when Penn State had 2 losses, but they were a conference champion. And Ohio State got in as a non-conference champion, as a 1-loss non-conference champion. So I see this being the same vibe as last year. So honestly, I'm not even surprised that Alabama was at number 4. I really thought I could have been wrong for a minute, but I really didn't think so. Because really, I think the committee wanted to keep their consistency going. Because if the committee really wanted to put in all conference champions, they would have put in Penn State over even Ohio State or Washington last year. But that second loss was the huge difference of Penn State not getting in last year. And that's what the difference of Ohio State not getting in this year is. So it's just something we got to put up with. Whether or not this is going to lead up to wanting to extend the playoff, I really think maybe an 8-team playoff would be better. But still, it really wouldn't. I feel like there'd be more arguments depending on how many more teams you put in. Whether or not you'd want to put 4 and 5 play in a wild card game to play the number 1 seed, there'd still be teams arguing for that 5th spot. No matter how many more you put in, the more they're going to argue about it. Like, let's just say let's take this for an example. Like, you have a birthday party and your mom says that you can only invite 12 friends. But you really have 16 friends that want to really go to this party. 4 of them are going to be left out. So really, the more that we allow in, the more arguments there's going to be. So really, I think 4 is enough for right now, but I'm open to 8 teams, but under a certain criteria. The Power 5 conference champions get an automatic spot in. And the highest group of 5 conference champion gets automatically in. So that's 6 spots. And then the final 2 are at-larges. But still, though, even though you would have the at-larges, it would still be a case for Alabama or Ohio State or some Oklahomas, depending on what type of year it is, maybe the Clemsons or the Miamis, to get in every year as an at-large. So really, it's going to ignite more arguments depending on how you look at it. But I feel like an 18 playoff with the 5 Power 5 conference champions getting an automatic spot in, and one group of 5 team getting automatically in, I think it would settle the thing, because I think one of the main problems is people really want to see Central Florida get a chance in the college football playoff. And I feel like under an 18 format, I think it's possible. Because under my 18 playoff system, Central Florida would get the automatic spot in. But comment your thoughts down below on whether you think that the committee got it right. I feel like the committee got it right because I feel like the committee is honoring their consistency based on last year by putting in a non-conference champion over a 2-loss conference champion. And I feel like that consistency is continued. So comment your thoughts down below on a couple of these things. First, comment your thoughts down below whether you thought the committee got it right or not. Also, comment your thoughts down below on what you think an 18 playoff should look like. Or comment how many teams should be in the playoff. Right? I will be back either later tonight or Monday for a special announcement. Also, comment your thoughts on what that might be. Although some of you might know that. But I'll see you then. Have a good day, everyone.